Guys, I'm keen to hear, like, what have been some of the results or the outcomes that have happened for you guys since going through the planning process?
Well, we've sort of relatively new at implementing it, so we sort of as in like kind of like returns. We haven't sort of really started the actions. But we've definitely sort of been able to sort of work through it, covered all the followed all the steps, so we're sort of on our way with that sort of modeling. I think that's kind of what
I think the biggest outcome is probably just we have ticked that off the to-do list.
Yeah.
And it has been on the to-do list for a couple of years. So just feeling good about yourself, just being like, okay, I took that first step and tackled this huge thing that has always been in the back of my mind. And we were too busy, too scared, too busy procrastinating. So just, I think that's probably just like, it's taking certainly a weight off our chest. Just feeling excited and motivated as well, about like, hey, if we actually, follow certain steps and, we're very aware of where our money goes, we can actually achieve the things that we set out to achieve, that we would like to achieve.
And all of these things, like, they just kind of makes you excited, really, to sort of know that okay, you've ticked that off, you're kind of on your way to doing that, but also kind of having the flexibility to excuse the pun, be able to pivot. If we decide, we see an opportunity and we decide to go down that road as well. Like, that's also very exciting.
And I think that's a good point, because a lot of people think that it's really inflexible, that once they and it's sometimes particularly for people before they jump into the advice process, they're going, oh, there's this thing that I'm unsure about, or these couple of things could happen, but that's just life. Like, there's always a couple of different pathways, and you have those sliding door moments that things could go down.
I think every time I was worried about something and I asked Emily, I'm like, oh, but what about? And she's like, it's okay, it's not set in stone, we can adjust, like, don't worry. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's very reassuring, I think. Because you sort of mentioned earlier on, sort of having balance, and that's something that we're very keen on. It's kind of having balance in our lives to just be able to do the things we want to do. So the thing is, you sort of mentioned, like, okay, we could have put all our eggs in the one basket and go for the expensive property, but then we wouldn't be able to travel for I don't know. Well, we can't travel now anyway.
Hopefully soon enough.
Yeah. But I mean, like, we still have family and friends overseas, that we like to see on a kind of regular basis, and I know
having that flexibility.
To having that flexibility to sort of go back and forth. It's really important to us.
Absolutely. And I think that, like, once you've got, it's like the big ship analogy, like, once you start moving, it's easier to course correct. Whereas if you fall into that trap of you're just waiting for the stars to perfectly align, then you're always going to be starting from a standing start. So I think a lot of people think that they're giving up that flexibility, but you're really just giving yourself the platform to be able to pivot, as you say, and make those decisions and change tack as you can capitalize on opportunities that make sense for you.
That being said, though, I mean, we did have to make decisions that we can't just, change immediately. So I do think, like, people should be aware that you do need to make a decision at some point, and it's okay as well, because it'll help you get there, right? Like, if you never take a step, then you won't get anywhere. But still, you have that flexibility in there, which is great.
That's right. And I think it's that you want to know, and where we have the advantage is we're always looking 2 or 3 steps ahead, so that if you are, when you are making those decisions, you say, look, if this, then yeah, it has these advantages, but you're potentially cutting yourself off from doing this. Like when it comes to property, you could go buy an investment property, but it might stop at some point. You can't keep buying properties and then still have the ability to say buy your dream home, for example. But if you're doing that on your own, then you might just keep doing stuff, and then you go to do the thing that you want, and then you realize that you can't do it. Whereas because we know the things to look out for, you go, well, actually, if you do that, you're going to cut yourself off from this option until these other things happen. How do you feel about that? And you say, oh, actually, no, that option's really important to me. Or, oh, okay, yes, because I'm going to get the advantages that come with making this decision. Yes, I'm going to do that. But it's that knowing. And I think that goes a long way to that peace of mind that you're doing the absolute best thing for you.